wherever you are, I hope you are good. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are wealthy. And I hope you are safe right now. Let's go ahead and talk some crypto. All right. First things first, it's April 5th. Want to wish Satoshi Nakamoto a very happy birthday. Don't know if you're just a pseudonym, if you're a real person. Don't know if you're a project or a group of people. It does not matter. Whoever you are, whatever you are, I wish you a very happy birthday. I got to say this because I'm speaking, of course, to the good one, the great one, the GOAT, the inventor of Bitcoin. So for anyone who doesn't know, Satoshi Nakamoto is the pseudonym of the group of people, individual, organization, or whatever created Bitcoin. So how do we know that this is, in fact, his birthday? Well, let's take a look at this here. Here you'll see CoinDesk talking about in the news, Satoshi Nakamoto. First of all, how can he have a birthday? Great question. And what's the significance of April 5th? Well, supposedly, April 5th, 1975 is the pseudonym's birthday, the creator of Bitcoin, their birthday. Why would they pick this as a birthday? Again, a pseudonym, this is not likely a real individual. This is someone or a group of people that are using this name to conduct their business. But why would they choose April 5th, 1975 as their birthday? Now, for those who are unaware, my background is a bit varied, but I do have degrees in history, political science, as well as teaching credentials. And one of the things that I have found, first of all, is that you can connect pretty much any date of the year to something important in history. Okay, but more than likely, and I think this is probably accurate, April 5th, 1933 is the date for when Franklin Delano Roosevelt decided to eliminate people's right to own gold and silver. He took that away from Americans. They could no longer, as they put it here, hoard any gold coins, any gold bullion. And so perhaps that is the reason that Satoshi Nakamoto has this birth date of April 5th, 1975. It's just simply connecting to April 5th, 1933. Again, there are so many important dates in history. If you think about it from this perspective, right? I mean, written history goes back close to 10,000 years. In the course of that time, is it possible that one of those days might be important and related to this? Absolutely. If you look at the course of U.S. history, nearly 250 years, the U.S. has been its own nation. Is it possible that in the course of that's 250 April 5ths, that one of them might be important or have some connection to currency, the economy, markets? Of course, absolutely. This probably is the most logical connection, but I am pointing out that there are many ways in which this could connect to this date that was chosen by Satoshi Nakamoto. I think a better question isn't so much the April 5th, it's the 1975. What is the significance there? And you can see in the article here, there's very little mention as 1975. Basically, it says that's the year that President Gerald Ford reversed the executive order 6102. Possibly. I mean, that's possible. So today, Americans, you can hold gold and silver. I do hold several gold and silver coins. I also like, just the history buff in me, I like collecting old coins, ancient coins. I wasn't actually planning on getting this as a part of the video, but I've got coins from, see, this is 250 AD. This one here is about 350 BC, old Greek coin. This one here I think is around also 250 AD, 240, roughly 240 AD. So I enjoy historic coins. I enjoy, here's a whole bunch of Kennedy half dollars, all have some silver content in them. Here's a Walking Lady Liberty from 42. Yeah, so it is nice that order was reversed, and now we as Americans can own gold and silver. So maybe that's the significance of 1975, or maybe there's some other significance. Who knows? If we ever find out who Satoshi Nakamoto is or what group of people that name represents, maybe then we'll get some more insight. All right, today I am going to be jumping around. Now that we've kind of covered a little bit of news, I'm going to jump around in a couple of different things. I do want to address some comments from my last video regarding Thor and Thor nodes. And then I also was just going to look at what's going on in the mining world and talk a little about the future of mining. So first, let's take a look here. A lot of people were responding to my last video about Thor and Odin and how I wasn't considering maintenance fees. Well, one of my responses was that they're probably going to be addressing those maintenance fees. They would have to keep the project viable. And here we are this morning, 8 a.m. it looks like. They announced that they will be reducing the maintenance fees for both Thor and Odin. I think I made mention in the video on Thor yesterday that they had already done this with Freya and Heimdall nodes. And so, yeah, I mean, that is something to take into consideration. Yes, there are fees, maintenance fees that go into maintaining those nodes. That is a cost to you that you have to, if you are an investor in this, that you have to consider. My Excel spreadsheet does not get into maintenance nodes or the maintenance of the nodes. Because I do believe that is something that's going to be a variable throughout this. And B, if we are looking at, let's say you look at the all Odin strategy that I showed you yesterday. If you're an investor looking at that strategy, then even at $5, if I remember off the top of my head, I want to say it was close to $20,000, maybe even more, $24,000 a month that you have in income. Meanwhile, maybe it was 14. Either way, whatever it was. Meanwhile, your maintenance fees are roughly $800 to $900. That is a significant chunk. It's like 7%, roughly. And 7% is nothing to scoff at. That is something to be aware of. However, when you are making that kind of income, that 7% I feel like is a sacrifice that anyone would be more than willing to make. I do think that what Thor Financial should be doing is looking into some kind of a sliding scale for the maintenance fees that adjusts with the value or the evaluation of the coin. And I don't think, I mean, it'd be great if this was, if this announcement here was in response to my video and the talk that I was talking about with these things. I doubt it was. Again, I have no connection to Thor Financial. I don't know any of these people. I haven't had any communication with them. This is simply from my own perspective, me sharing my thoughts on the project. A project that I still think is very viable. What remains to be seen is what they actually do with it. They have an opportunity here. And I want to be very clear. That's all this is an opportunity. If they do well, if they make some good financial decisions, if the game does well, and I got to say, I think that's a big part of this play to earn game that they have coming out. Gods of Asgard. If that does well, that changes a lot of things for us. I think that would also change the evaluation of the coin substantially too. But as I showed yesterday in my video, even at $5, these have a good return, whether you use the Thor strategy or an Odin strategy or even the hybrid strategy that I'm probably going to use myself. If you are looking into this, you need to come up with a strategy, figure out what you want to do, and then kind of go with it from there. All right, let's jump over and talk about some mining. Many of you who are into mining might have, like I did myself and a couple weeks ago, started playing around with mining some Ethereum Classic. One of the reasons I did this, and I'm not still mining Ethereum Classic, I have switched most of my rigs back to Ethereum. But as you can see in the chart here, Ethereum Classic has had a really good pump here. It's up significantly. I do want to see, I'm hoping to see more of this. If Ethereum Classic is in any way going to step up in helping with the transition of Ethereum miners to other altcoins, then Ethereum Classic, we are going to need to see some increase in the valuation of the coin. Of course, ASICs are probably just really looking at this, very hopeful. And keep in mind, it is to the benefit of ASIC miners who have a huge sway with the amount of hash rate they provide to see coins that they switch to succeed. So Ethereum Classic, if this is indeed where a lot of ASICs are going, there's going to be a lot of pressure from Ethereum ASIC miners to try to push this Classic coin up in valuation. I do not think that even under the most ideal circumstances that this is going to be viable for all of the Ethereum hash rate. There's no way. There's so much computing power on Ethereum right now. It's going to be absorbed into, I think, many different projects, but it is interesting to see this one. That being said, I definitely have been trying my different rigs on Ethereum Classic. It's a very easy transition. For anyone who's mining, I suggest that you have a multi-tiered plan, that you have layers of plans, multiple layers. You are prepared for whatever is going to come, whether it's June, July, or later this year. When that merge hits, you should already have plans in place as to what you're going to do. Again, Ethereum Classic is a very easy switch. But speaking of that, let's take a look at what's going on with what to mine and see what's happening with some of these things. This is an example of a very heavy AMD mining rig or rigs. And if we hit calculate, you will notice under cost, I have 0 in here. I personally always use 0. The reason for that is that I am entirely solar at this point on my farm. And so I'm not looking at these costs here. Make sure you are aware of your costs. Yeah, 0.1 is something that I think it defaults to a lot of people use. If you're mining in the US, like myself, and I'm guessing most of you, then you need to double check that, because I doubt you're getting 0.1. You're probably paying a much higher per kilowatt hour rate. So do pay attention to that. Make sure you are using accurate calculations for yourself. But as a general idea, if we use the 0 when we're looking at this, we can see Ethereum is still at the very top of the market here, top dog, if you will. But this is what's refreshing to see. The Ethereum Classic, as high as it is here, for months, I remember Ethereum Classic was way down this list here. It was 15, 20, 25, 30 spots down. Seeing it back up toward in the top 5 is just spectacular. Other coins that I think that we should talk about very briefly here, and again I can get more into these later on down the road. But Ergo is another chain that I think has a lot of potential. I think it's worth mining. It's definitely worth having as one of your strategies. I'll say this though, the chain itself, the network, I think it's a decent chain and network. I think it's fine for mining. That wallet, like their primary wallet that most people are using, Yoroi or YoRoi or Yori or whatever it is, that is garbage. That wallet is utter garbage. Okay. I'm so used to MetaMask, which has such a refined user interface. It works so well. Everything connects with it. There's never any problems. Going from that, and you can even see in my Brave browser here, I've got Yoroi or Yori or whatever it is, and I've got my MetaMask up there. The other thing too about Ergo to be mindful of is it's not, from my perspective, the easiest coin to liquidate if you're trying to get the cash out of it. None of the major brokerages that I use, whether it's Crypto.com, Coinbase, Binance, whatever, seem to carry it. So you're going to be using probably not just a primary, secondary, tertiary, but some unique one that you're probably not familiar with, a brokerage that you're probably not used to using. You have to go through all the KYC to set that up. And then you're going to be taking that and you're going to probably convert it into a coin that is maybe a stable coin like USDT. That's one of the lesser expensive coins to transfer, and move it over into whatever primary wallet or brokerage site that you use. So again, I like the project. I like the network. I like mining on it. The overclocks were pretty easy, very similar to Ethereum in a lot of ways. But the stuff around it, the ancillary things around it, is just garbage, whether it's the wallet or the brokerages you're going to be using. I'd love to see Crypto.com or Coinbase start backing this and get it as something that people can buy and invest into. That'll send the evaluation on Ergo way up. It'll also make it much easier for us miners. Additionally, Ravencoin. Love Ravencoin. Love the network. Absolutely hate the heat issues I have with my miners on that network. It is rough, and anyone who's had the displeasure of miner Ravencoin knows this. You've got to pay a lot more attention to your overclocks. You got to be very careful with your settings, and hopefully you have a good heat management system. Admittedly, as I've talked about on the channel before, my mining shed, not the best. It is vastly improved with some ventilation I've been doing to it recently. I've been adding ventilation. Still, I haven't tried it with Ravencoin since I added the new ventilation, but I'm not all that excited about it either. So that's something to be aware of there. We'll talk more about conceal and equilibria here in just a second. For instance, if we jump over, and now let's say we're looking at NVIDIA's and we're talking LHR type cards, right? Like 3060 Ti LHR cards. Again, I'm using 00. If we click calculate there, we have conceal and equilibria right at the top. These are kryptonite GPUs. They are, I don't have a lot of experience with them. I've read up on them. I haven't mined them personally. It's just stuff that I've been looking into. As you can see, the payouts there are better than Ethereum, not substantially better. I think most of us would be looking at either Conflux or Ergo instead. Just out of, I'm guessing more of you have familiarity with those than you do with Conceal or Equilibria, like myself. Rio is right in that same category. Again, another kryptonite GPU algorithm. I've read up on it. I've heard a few miners talking about it. I think of the three, Rio, whatever you want to call it, is probably the one that I would default to more often than the Conceal or Equilibria. But again, I'm still going to be looking rather at Conflux or Ergo instead. You can see Ethereum is dropping. It's moving its way kind of down the list. And if you really are looking at this, I mean, we're looking at 12.5 versus 10.5. That's $2 difference per day. That's another $60 a month. That adds up. Ravencoin's quite a ways down there, as is Flux. What about if we jump up here and we switch over to non-LHR cards? So let's say you've got 5 3060 Ti's. Again, I'm using my 00 there. Ethereum, you can see right at the top there. And then something to keep in mind between the LHR, like if we go back and we're talking about Ethereum Classic, if we go back to these LHR cards, yeah, Ethereum's way down there. Ethereum Classic is even further down. It is not profitable at all for the LHR cards. If you are heavily invested in LHR cards, I would definitely be defaulting looking to one of these other projects. But for the non-LHR cards, let's say you got 5 3060 Ti's. Ethereum is, of course, right at the top here. But again, Ergo, I mean, it's not that far off. You're looking at that's $1.50 a day difference. And these margins do change over time. I've seen them get much tighter. I've seen Ergo ahead of Ethereum many times last year. Those two are fighting out pretty good. Again, you also have Conflux, Equilibria, Conceal, all towards up. We're kind of seeing the same coins up there, regardless of what type of GPUs you might be running right now. What I am doing and what I'm kind of suggesting everyone look into and think about as a miner is, again, what is your plan? What is your backup plan? What is your backup plan? How can you vary those plans depending on what happens? Have you tested your mining rigs on these different algorithms? Do you have a wallet set up for these different coins? Are you ready for whenever that switch flips on the merge from the proof of work to proof of stake? Are you ready to make that switch as well? You should definitely be getting yourself ready. At this point, I'm ready for a lot of these. I'm not ready for all of them. As I was just saying, Conceal, Equilibria, Rio, I'm not ready for these. These are things that I need to be working on, and I'm going to be working on. The other thing that I would say, going back to all this, and again, don't take this as financial advice, as though, here I'm sitting down talking with you one-on-one. Here's some advice as to what you should be doing. Here is just from my perspective as someone who teaches an economics class. And there's nothing unique about this. I think pretty much all financial advisors are going to say this. Make sure to diversify. That's what I keep telling myself. It's what I tell my students when I'm teaching personal finance and economics. Diversify. Crypto is great. Crypto, there is obviously a high risk, high reward scenario there. When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's really bad. But for myself, one of the things that I am always looking to do is I'm putting some stuff into cryptocurrency. But I'm also wanting to make sure that I'm protected if cryptocurrency goes, to the bottom, if it goes sky high. I want to make sure I also own index funds. When I'm looking at cryptocurrency, I'm wanting very high rates of returns. When I'm looking at index funds, I still want high rates of returns, but high relative to more traditional financial instruments. Money in my savings account, I think it's like 0.00% that I get back on it. Money inside an index fund, I'm getting 11%, 10%. I'm very happy with that. Whether it's Vanguard, BlackRock, Fidelity. I know Vanguard, I think it's their VOO. It's their S&P 500 fund. It's like 11% annual rate of return. I love that for myself. Bonds, especially with the way things are going, or even TIPS, Treasury, inflation protected securities, something that is helping with the inflation, a hedge against that. It's important to make sure that we are all, as a society, making good financial decisions. If you put it all into cryptocurrency, there is a lot of risk there. However, as I am putting money into cryptocurrency, I am making sure I diversify. I'm buying mining rigs to mine and make money from mining. I am investing in node projects to try to make some money off of nodes. I am lending money on like USDT, staking it with these different brokerages that will lend it out. And in some cases, they're paying, 7, 10, 12% on that money. I just want to make sure that I am well diversified, especially going into the merge. I have a lot of reservations about what's going to happen to Ethereum. Part of me, as a miner, that's a little bit pissed off right now that they are doing this. And yeah, I know it's been talked about from the beginning. And yes, I knew this was coming for years. I'm still pissed off that this is happening. And part of me wants to see Ethereum kind of fall on its face. It sucks because I have a lot of Ethereum. And if Ethereum falls on its face, there goes a lot of my savings, a lot of my mining is gone. But I feel like the transition from that proof of work to proof of stake, yes, it's working fine on their test nodes, but it is still, from my perspective, what I have read, what I understand, it's still a largely unproven technology. And yes, proof of work was the same way when Bitcoin came out 10 plus years ago. It was a largely, almost 10 plus years ago, it was a largely unfounded, unproven technology, but it has stood at this point the test of time. It's, we're looking at a decade of records here. Proof of stake, I don't see that. I don't see it working on the scales that they're trying to make it work for Ethereum. So part of me does want to see it fall flat on its face. And again, I know that's not a good thing as someone who's heavily invested in it. But it will be interesting to see how this proceeds forward, what ends up happening there. And again, I just hope that everyone is paying a lot of attention to this and you're getting ready for it. Whatever your personal decisions are as to how you're going to approach this, make them now, make a plan, and be prepared. Anyways, I've been rambling on. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to wrap this up, but we're at 24 minutes, and I feel like I've kind of said everything I need to say. I hope you found something useful, helpful. I hope that you come back, check out more of the videos on my channel, take a look at some of my past videos. Please feel free to hit me up in the comments below. Anyone who has watched my videos and put comments in, you'll probably see I tend to respond to them. I am reading them. I'm paying attention. I'd love to hear your feedback. What are some other node projects I should be talking about? I'm talking about Polar. I'm talking about Strong. I'm talking about Thor. What else should I be looking at inside that sphere, inside that realm? What do I need to be educated on? Anyways, have a wonderful day.